So, good evening. We are back again with the podcast Sunday settings, the day after England absolutely destroyed Ukraine with consummate ease. It was light work. It was like training ground sessions, really. But Jez, how you been, man?
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah. Totally amazed at the football, to be honest. And actually, I'm really enjoying it. Actually, as I said previously, I'm not really into international football. But I tell you what, all those games in the quarterfinals were sick. I mean, bloody brilliant. I mean, and fair play to England doing the business, and long may they continue to the final, and let's hope they win it. So, wow.
Hopefully. Kenny, how you been, man?
Sweepstake though. I won't. If Spain don't win it, I won't win 200 quid. So
Kenny's turned his camera off. Look. Trying to teach an old dog new tricks is just impossible over here, isn't it, Kenny? You know what I mean?
No, not at all. Someone keeps on trying to ring, and I'm going to really lose my rank. Don't ring me when I'm doing this. This comes first. So, in terms of what's happened, what a difference a week makes. Last week, Germany, France, and Portugal, and Belgium, the favourites to win the tournament, were all like odds on. They're all going to knock all the teams they're going to play out. And guess what? They're all going on. And I'll tell you one thing before we go. My mum is not like Adrian Rabiot's mum. I can tell you that for a fact.
Chig, evening, mate. Let me just close this window because I can hear cars shooting past, mate. But how you been?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. I'm all right. How are you?
I'm very well, man. Very well. I'm looking at the weather outside up here in Carlisle, mate. It is absolutely hammering down with rain, like literally chucking it down. It's like 1 minute it's sunny and 25 degrees. The next minute it's like just hammering it down. The heavens open. Yeah, it's kind of mad. But
English summer.
Yeah, but the quicker I get back to Spain, the better, and that might be quicker than I thought. So yeah, happy days. I'll discuss that in the group chat later. But listen, big up to everybody who is watching live. There's 200 people inside 3 minutes, so thank you very much. Make sure you smash the likes up. Make sure you follow all the guys as well. Their links are in the description. And make sure you vote on the poll. A new setting to YouTube. Is it coming home? It's pinned to the top of the chat. It's a poll, so vote. You can decide. But Jez, let's go through that game last night. I sat there, I watched it with my dad, my brother, and the rest of the family and that. And I said, if we went 1-0 up real quick, we'll batter them. Yeah, I genuinely thought that. And like we went 1-0 up inside 4 minutes. Kane, what a finish as well. He kind of scooped it, didn't he, instead of just pinging it. And I mean, after that, it was just so comfortable. Like, even though we weren't peppering shot after shot after shot, I felt we were totally in control of that game. And after the second goal, they just gave up. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I thought it was a brilliant game. As you say, Kane was on fire last night. Okay, got doubts about Southgate, but I've got to be fair to the fella. Credit where credit's due. He seems to have got it right. England haven't conceded a goal, scored 10. Is it 10? I think so. But the fact of the matter is, they played with such confidence. All the players seemed to be fighting for each other. And when they had the chances, which, they took them. And that is being clinical. And I'm totally impressed, to be fair. I think all the players are doing bang on goods. And I just hope it brings the success that they deserve from the performances they've shown. So, bring it home, boys.
Jez, who stood out for you last night? Because obviously Saka was benched. Jack Grealish didn't get a start again. And I was looking at the starting 11 thinking, right, let's put Jadon Sancho in. He hasn't played a single minute since he's been here. Yeah, and he put Sancho in. I thought he was superb, by the way. It's some of the stuff that kid can do is just next level good. He is just such a good footballer. And he draws fouls, he can take people on. He knows his IQ on a football pitch is insane. But for me, I thought Harry Kane, from that first minute, it was like he got that goal last week. And he was like, right, I'm going to shut everyone up here. He should have had 3 or 4. Like that shot, the save from that shot on that volley, what a goal that would have been, buddy. Yeah. But yeah, who impressed you? Obviously, Kane got the headlines, but other than Kane, who impressed you in that team?
I thought Kane was superb. I thought Pickford was great in goal. And I'll be honest with you, it's really tough to pick out one individual player because the whole team gelled in such a strong way. I can't honestly say I've seen many games of England over the last 20 years where, and I have to be honest, I don't watch all of them. They played, they played like their souls were in it. They were fighting for each other. They were like just bang on, and I was just so impressed. I really was. I actually had doubts. I'll be honest with you. Before that game, I thought, not sure about this. Ukraine have done well to get there. I could just see us being unpicked, to be honest with you. But let's be fair. The semi-final now at Wembley and the final, that has got to give a big advantage to England in my book. And I'm so impressed. I really am.
Yeah, we've not conceded a goal either, and we ain't really conceded many shots either. Kenny, what did you make of it? Because obviously, I see your Instagram. I love your Instagram, Kenny. Like, you crack me up. I love how regular you are with it. You're consistent with it. You put the starting 11 reaction out on there. You do your thoughts after the game. Now, I love in the commentary. Like, the commentary is lit. Yeah, you need to be on BT Sport or something, mate, or even BBC, because I can't take Rio Ferdinand much longer, mate. I can't. And Jermaine Jenas on commentary on ITV. I mean, Jesus Christ, he must be cheap. But what did you make of it overall?
I thought the performance is that they took advantage of the fact that Ukraine, were really knackered after their win on Tuesday against the Swedes, and it was the way they moved the ball, the way they made sure that the Ukraine weren't able to make their passes, and even when they tried to play through the lines, they made sure that the door was slammed shut. And what I liked about England as well, they managed to change the tempo as well. Like, for instance, they picked the right times to go on the attack, and by doing that they're playing proper international football. And I think in terms of what I'm liking about England as well, one, the defending, and two, Southgate has got a strength and depth. And that's what you've always wanted at the national level, to the extent that he's kept his squad fresh. Like Jordan Henderson, we know he's been injured, but when he's actually came on yesterday, he looked fresh. Jadon Sancho looks fresh. Marcus Rashford looks fresh. And I think that's where England done. I think what Southgate has done is that you've got to give him credit, although I still find him a bit bland, and he's probably a German version of Joachim Löw, is that he's actually copied a German model. He's thought about, right, this is a 7-game tournament. So all I'm going to do right now is make sure I keep my squad fresh. And that's what the Germans have done when they won the World Cup in 1990 and won Euro 96 and won the World Cup in Brazil. Every player that came in was fresh. And they didn't just use like a nucleus of about 15 players. They used virtually the whole squad. And that's what Southgate's trying to do, is that he's keeping it fresh. All right, we don't like it because we want continuity, but it's all about making sure that there's no passengers in terms of when England don't have the ball, pressing and making sure that they defend as a team. And I have to admit, I've got to be impressed with it. But one thing I would say is that everyone in Europe, except for people in this country, want Denmark to win. So that's added pressure this Thursday. So this Wednesday.
Especially the Scottish.
Oh, yeah, Scottish, of course. But the Scottish, they're not part of this country. They don't want to be as well.
No, it's true. Like, I've seen so many videos doing the rounds of like people from Scotland wearing other shirts of the nation we're playing against, and it's like, I think even I can't remember her name, the prime minister up there. She was like, yeah, but they didn't beat us. It was like, love, you're at the competition. Like, we haven't like lost a game. We haven't conceded a goal. We're in the semi-final, and it's like, it's starting to get everyone to believe. And I was on Matisse's stream earlier as well, and Matisse and Toby and Corey, they were all saying the same. Like, when we say it's coming home, it's more like hope than anything. It's just like, it's just a thing. Oh, it just gets us buzzed up. But Chig, let me come to you. How nice would it be after the last 18 months or so of lockdown after lockdown, the way the world's gone in the last 18 months, how sick would it be if England actually won this and it was at Wembley in London? Like, the buzz this country would get would be insane. What do you think, man?
I say this as someone who is a Nigerian fan first. it'd be wonderful. It'd be a really good pick-up feeling. And I say that as someone who wants England to do well, but is always a Nigerian fan first. But even I say it would be brilliant. It would be a really good feeling for England for once to just win one of these competitions. I was having this conversation with my mum the other day. Like, it'd just be nice for England to just go ahead and just do well. Just go ahead and just win this thing. Fuck it. Well, why not? Why actually not? Every year we talk about how, England should be able to get to a quarter-final this year or a semi-final this year. And actually, other people that say, no, England can win this thing. like Kevin De Bruyne the other day, they were interviewing him the other day, and then, like, the interviewer was real cool. Like, he was talking about how, how do you think England will do well? Maybe they might get to a semi-final. And Kevin De Bruyne was like, no, they're one of the fucking favourites. Let's have it right. They're one of the favourites. And that was before all these teams went out, And I think sometimes we do undersell ourselves because we've had so much disappointment when it comes to football over the years, So much disappointment where we've seen golden eras come and go. We've seen talented players that should have done better, and they haven't done better. So we as a nation are hardened to it now. We don't expect our teams to do well anymore. So we don't rise our hopes like we should, like any other nation would. If Nigeria was in this position, you best believe it'd be carnival time. It'd be carnival time. We'd be expected to win as well. That's the funny thing. So I don't see why we can't say to ourselves, all right, we've got Denmark, we should slap them. Slap them. Yes, they've got talented players. So do we. Let's have it right. If you're in a semi-final of a major competition, shock horror, you have talented players. This shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. But we should beat them. And then go ahead to the final. And, whoever it is, whether it's Spain, whether it's going to be a difficult game, whoever it is, go ahead and just be brave and have that expectation of winning. Because if you have that expectation of making the numbers up and say, oh, well, we've had a good run, we've done ourselves proud, then you don't deserve to win the competition anyway.
No, mate, listen, you're spot on. And do you know what's mad, right? And I want to come to Jez in a minute, but I just want to ask you this, Jig, right? Yeah. Like, do you know what's crazy is none of us here rate Southgate. Yeah. Like, literally none of us rate Southgate. But do you know what? I wanted to ask you quickly, Jig, before we come to Jez, yeah? How do you think he's managed this squad so far? Because me personally, I've looked at it and I've just thought, do you know what? Like, I'll see people in Matisse's stream earlier saying, well, you ain't even played anyone yet. Let's not forget we played Germany, yeah? Right? Let's not forget we played Scotland. And albeit Scotland are not as good as us, it is their final. Yeah, let's be real here. They always raise their game. And they should have won. They should have won, yeah. Yeah. We cleared one off the line. Yeah, other chances. Pickford made some good saves. But do you think he's managed the squad properly? Because we haven't really seen a lot of Rashford. We see Sancho yesterday. Grealish has barely been used. John Stones, I think, has been superb. Like, we've seen Calvin Phillips, so I don't particularly think it's that great. But again, yesterday I thought he was excellent. Jordan Henderson, straight in, bang, goal. Like, how do you think he's managed it, Chick? Do you think it has just been like more so the teams we're playing and a bit of luck, or do you think it's a bit of everything?
I think the boys have alluded to it earlier. I think this type of tournament and the setup suits his style. So he doesn't need to do anything extravagant. He doesn't need to reinvent the wheel too much. He just needs to essentially manage the team. And the one thing I'll give him over, say, someone like a Mikel Arteta, and why I've always maintained that I'd have him over Arteta, is because I think he's clearly a better man manager than Arteta. So I know people don't want me to bring a downer to this. So I won't focus on Arteta too much. But I think when you're good at man managing people, then you're able to do that. You're able to rotate at sensible times. You're able to be a bit more in touch with when someone is a bit close to the quote-unquote red zone and they may need to be taken out for a game or two. You have a better idea of these things. And we have seen lots of players go down in this tournament You know, the fact that the only kind of injury that we're kind of stewing about is Bukayo Saka in a tournament where we're now in the semi-final of is a testament to his management style. So clearly he is doing something correct. He's clearly doing something correctly. So no, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to start pitching for Gareth Southgate to be Arsenal manager anytime soon. But I will say this, the guy is doing credit to him. He's doing what he's doing. I hope, in some ways, my mum really hopes that he wins it for his sake because he feels that Gareth Southgate gets too much criticism. So, I'm not too far away from her. I can see what she's saying. So, yeah, I hope for his sake, in certain ways, we do go on and win the competition.
Yeah, same, mate. Look, enough people in the chat are saying the same. Like, the buzz this country would get winning it at Wembley, like it would just be insane. Like, and there was a comment a minute ago saying like the English celebrate football like no other, like especially if it's us, like, and we win. Obviously, we don't win. It is going to go absolutely mad if we end up winning this. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, Jez. Before I come to you, big up to everyone who's watching live. 500 people watching. Smash the likes up. Subscribe to Chig. Make sure you follow Jez and Kenny Ken on Insta. Kenny Ken 1972 Collins.Jez on Insta. So I've got a good memory. And thank you to everyone who's put a super chat in as well. I do appreciate that. Big up to Anthony as well. It says I'm the only one hoping England go out. Kenny, if you've got your TV on, mate, can you just mute it?
No, it's not my TV. I've turned it down.
Oh, maybe it's not you. Maybe it's Chig or Jez. I don't know.
No, not me.
Mate, it was you, Kenny. You blagger.
No. Because you hear go. Can you sort of go woo like that?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't me. No, I can hear that. I don't know where it is.
Kenny's turned into Shaggy. It wasn't me.
No, it wasn't me, mate. I can still hear that sound.
Yeah.
Let me mute myself.
Okay, go on, mate. And big up to Anthony. Big up to everybody watching live as well. Thank you very much to the mighty Saw. It's coming home, baby. Look at my guy, man. Tottenham, bruv. Listen, if he's a Tottenham fan as well, if it comes home, are you going to claim that as a trophy for Tottenham because Harry Kane? Is that how it works? Because he's the only player you've got, I think. Oh, and Højbjerg. They're the only two. One of them's going home. Are you going to claim that as a trophy? I think we've only got Saka, haven't we?
Yeah,
it's all gone tits. But let me grab this super chat real quick. Keep smashing the likes up, people. I'll be back again at 10 o'clock as well. No, I won't. I'll be back again at 9 o'clock. Big up to King Tony. He says, hey, legends, fear Denmark and concede the first goal. But I still think the force is with us and it's our year. But Italy in the final will be narrow. And you have led me on perfectly. Thank you very much to you, King Tony. Jez, what do you make of the semi-final lineups? Because obviously we have got Denmark. They're obviously going to be the underdog against us. I personally think we've got the best squad out of the 4 teams left in it. I don't think we've got the best manager, but I do think we've got the best squad. But that other tie as well, like Spain just create chance after chance after chance, and they've got a donkey up front who can hardly hit a barn door. And then you've got the Italians who have just been absolutely flawless so far. Like, it's set up that game to be either a bore fest that goes 0-0 all the way to pens, that Italian game, or it's just going to be like insane. It's going to be the best game of the tournament. And then obviously our side, no Eriksen, the whole drama that happened, and fair play is recovering, and good luck to him. But what do you see happening in them 2 ties? Because obviously Denmark, like I said, they've got no Eriksen, but they've still got a decent team. You don't make it to a semi if you're crap. And they've obviously got here. They beat the Czech Republic day before yesterday, wasn't it? But then Spain have seeming to warm up, and obviously you've got Spain. Kenny picked Spain. But obviously our dear friend Claudio, he's probably sitting there with a little smile on his face saying, nah, it ain't coming home, lads. It's going back to Italy. What do you make of them 2 ties?
Right. England, Denmark, I think England will win that. I think it'll be a 2-0 win. The game, the Italy-Spain game, I think it will be a ball fest because I think they're both going to neutralise each other. But I think Italy, looking on it, how they've performed, I think they will sneak it. And I'm going to go 2-1 on that one. to Italy.
Yeah.
Which means obviously I'm not going to get me 200 quid, but if England win it, I'll let that one go by the by anyway. But the only trouble is the bloke who has got England in the sweepstake, I don't want him to win it. But there you go. No, so I think I don't like it. But I think it's going to be an England-Italy final. And I will be seriously nervous in that game. Seriously nervous because Italy, I don't know, they seem to have been a bit like they started off slow. And England started slow and they've built up. You know, they're up to speed. And I just hope that they can do it.
Yeah, this is the thing, like this comment here from Gillespie Road. Italy haven't lost for about 30 odd games. I think that record. I don't think Mancini's actually lost a game, has he, since he's been their manager? I might be wrong in saying that, but that record goes all the way back to the 30s, like the run that he's on, which is actually mad. Because when you look at their team, their defense and their goalkeeper, I mean, them two centre backs, they're just going to go on forever, aren't they? They seem to have been around forever and they're just relentless. Then you look at their midfield and they've got Verratti, they've got Jorginho. Jorginho's been brilliant this tournament. And then I think they've lost Spinazzola. I think he's out for quite a while now. But then you look at their strike force and I don't particularly rate Lorenzo Insigne. The other night, he was just unplayable, man. Like the goal he scored, the first goal he scored, like, that was just a joke. Yeah. And it's like, but they haven't got the top striker. They ain't got a Harry Kane. Then you look at Spain and you think, you got nice, pretty footballers. Pedri, you've got Olmo, you know, you got Jordi Alba still going. You got decent players, man, but you still ain't got a top striker like Harry Kane. And that's where I think, like, yes, they've got a good manager, both of them, very good managers, whereas we don't necessarily have that advantage, I don't think. I think both of their managers are better. But it's like we have got that top striker. Yeah, we haven't conceded a goal. And it'd be very interesting. Let me come to you, Kenny. It'd be very interesting to see what happens when we do concede a goal, especially if it is the first goal, because we're just like on that wave at the minute of we're unbeatable. Nobody can score past us. If we conceded the first goal, do you think that would change? Do you think they'd start doubting themselves?
Well, I think you mean England. In terms of England, I want it to fault side because I think what it is that he's got options, and you know, and all he will have to do is to change the same by because I think what's happened is that one thing about Southgate, and you've got, especially the Germany game, is that he didn't play his hand. A lot of people, you know, when they see you know, great, you know, attacking players in their opinion, they get excited. They think, right, can you imagine it? Whoa. We got speed on the left, speed on the right. We've got creativity with 2 or 3 players, and we've got 2 world-class forwards. Let's play all of them. And then what will happen is that when teams neutralise you, you can't change the tempo because all your game changers are all on the pitch. You can't bring them off the bench. Like Man City in the Champions League final, you can't bring them on the bench. But the way England are is that we do have game changers who can come off the bench. Like, for instance, Foden's a game changer. Everyone's forgotten about Foden because Saka's played really well against the Czech Republic and played really well in the first half against Germany. So what everyone wants now is that they don't want Foden with his 1-2s. They want pace to scare the life out of, you know, like defenders. So you've got that option. So I think that's where I think with in terms of England is that they do have game changers who you can bring off the bench. And that's where I do think England can cope because they know that it's not just through you know, set pieces. They know they actually can. They got the players who can pass through the Danish back fours line. And by the way, Denmark are really, really, really good defensively as well, despite the fact, you know, obviously that they lost against Finland, they lost against Belgium, and they play at a very, very high tempo. And I wouldn't like to go behind to Denmark. One thing that Denmark do really, and they proved it, especially yesterday, they tire.
Yeah,
they really are, and they look knackered because that tempo they play at is going to be impossible for them to play like that for 90 minutes, and that's why England could do 2 things: take the game away from them, go go get an early goal and probably go 2-0 up, and that will force Denmark to, to play at that high tempo where they're trying to chase the game really early, and that's where you can pick them off. So that will be that's where some England will be looking at it. But I can guarantee you, Denmark will fade in a second half if they're going to be playing that tempo, and if they get to the final playing that tempo, they'll get bodied in the final, because there's no way you can replicate that. You only have to look at the Ukraine, the tempo they played at, and then coming into the quarterfinal against England, where England got better players and game changers. Physically, you just can't do it.
No, mate, listen, I agree. I think that there's been some great comments in the chat as well about Denmark, that they look like they're tiring. They look tired against Czech Republic at certain stages in that game. They just look knackered towards the end of it, especially. And it's like, now you're coming up against, you could go with Saka, you could go with Sancho. Yeah, good luck with your left back, mate, because both of them are going to have you on strings, right? Left-hand side, Sterling. Listen, I don't particularly rate Sterling. He's been brilliant. Yeah, he has been brilliant. A couple of games, I was like, you just run around in circles. Other than that, he's gone on and he's like, yeah, I'm the man here. And he's grabbing the games now. And it's like that pass yesterday for Kane was superb. And he's kind of coming into his own. But then you look at the midfield battle, and let me come to Chig here, yeah? Like, they've obviously got Højbjerg, who plays for Tottenham. Other than that, I don't fear anyone. I don't actually fear him either. I look at that. I know they've got Christensen at centre-back as well. But it's just like, I just look at that Denmark team and I think, listen, you're a very good team. You're very well set up. Your tactics have been spot on. And you're a good unit and you'll work for each other. But I agree with you, Kenny. They're going to either sit back and defend, and we'll just get the goal and do them 1-0. Or they're going to come and have a go and we're going to absolutely slap them. Yeah, because I genuinely don't think they're that great. I think they're good and they've got to the semi for a reason, and fair play to them. But, Chig, what do you think of them? Do you think I'm not doing them a load of credit here, or do you think they're actually better than I'm saying?
See, this is the point. This is what I said when we were offline. This is the point now, as England fans, we need to just be easy, calm down. Because, for any team to get this far, they've got to be of a certain talent. I do think Denmark are a very good side as well. I do think that they've got some talented players, and they work very well as a team. I do think that we'll see that on Thursday. Remember, as much as it's England's semi-final, it's also their semi-final too, and they'll be eager to show once and for all that they can get to a major championship final and that they can perform at the highest level. And I think that they can. I think that they are a talented side. I do like the fact, from an England perspective, that they seem to tire quite easily, because I do think England actually managed themselves throughout a game very well. That's what I do like. They seem to pace themselves quite well. So it allows themselves to be dangerous at any stage of the game. They do have more game changers than Denmark. So, like you, I'm not a huge Sterling fan. I'm not huge. I'm not a huge Calvert-Lewin fan. But one thing I will say is that if you go through squads, England definitely has more game changers than Denmark. So if it is 0-0, or if it is 1-0 to Denmark, I'd be more confident about England coming back into a game and winning it than I would be about Denmark holding it. So,
no, that's a great point. That's a very good point. And the thing is, like, every single nation hates England. Like, let's be real. When it comes to football, it's like they raise their game for England. Iceland have done it. Scotland do it. Germany to a lesser degree, because their big game is normally Holland, but it's still England. Yeah, and it's like, we have to be really careful here, don't we? And it's like, if we go into that game, which I don't think we're going to, but like if we go into that game with the attitude of it's only Denmark, we're going home.
Yeah,
and it ain't coming home. We're going home, and then the papers and the media have all the dirt on these players and the manager, and a fairer come out over here. This player was out clubbing and we didn't know. And it's like, and that's the side of it I don't like. It's just like,
and that's where we shouldn't press the self-destruct button. The good thing about this COVID situation is, with it being in Wembley, almost cocoon ourselves from those problems, and just, you know, forget the hate that we're inevitably going to get, forget the criticism. And the press have been very, very good within the England squad. I have noticed that recently. Let's keep that shit going, and let's go into that competition and give these players an actual chance of winning this thing instead of bitching about them all the time. You know?
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Listen, 600 people watching nearly. Keep smashing the likes up. Make sure you subscribe to me. Keep smashing it. We're nearly on 60k. Come on, man. Make sure you follow my Insta as well, LeeGunner82. Make sure you follow Chig's channel, Guna Eagle Eye, link in the description. KennyKen1972 on Twitter and Insta, link in the description. And Collins.Jez on Insta, link in the description. Jez, let me come to you. Let's switch it up to, well, I say Arsenal. It's not Arsenal at the minute. Patrick Vieira, just been announced as Crystal Palace manager. And Kenny made a great point the other week, and he said, does this mean that all of this takeover talk is now dead and buried? Or was this part of the plan? Like, let's get Vieira's name out there, let's get Spotify out there, let's get Bergkamp out there, and now all of a sudden, a couple of months later, Vieira has a job at Crystal Palace. What do you make of that, and do you think he'll be any good?
I don't think he'll be any good. He's proved that in the past, hasn't he? With regard to the takeover, that's dead and buried. It's never going to happen. The Cronkies don't want to sell, and they ain't going to sell. So that's a waste of time. Palace taking Vieira as a manager, yeah, I think it's a bad move myself, personally, for Palace. They were lucky last season, let's be fair. But no, I can't see it, Lee. I can't see it.
Wouldn't it be funny if this Daniel Ek put a bid in to buy Crystal Palace?
Yeah. That'd be more like it. Let's be fair. Daniel Ek isn't going to buy Arsenal. You know, the Cronkies will want a damn sight more than 2.2 billion. And they're not going to sell. They don't want to sell. They've said it. You can shout and holler and scream and throw money at us. We're not selling. And if the owners don't want to sell, they ain't going to sell. Simple as. But good luck to Vieira. I think it's a mistake. And I hate it when ex-Arsenal greats do this sort of thing and they make themselves look a complete prick, because, you know, we've seen it with Henry and we've seen it with Vieira, and I just think it's a shame. I just wish these great players would stay out of it, personally.
Yeah, mate. I'm
great. We have got an Arsenal great as a manager, so I'm told. You know?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's the best looking Spaniard I know, apparently, mate. It says it on the banner around the stadium.
Yeah.
What do you make of it all, Kenny?
Well, to be honest, it's that, you know, they clearly if the rumour is to believe, you know, like they'll go for Lefebvre and they'll go for other managers, but I couldn't notice going over one of them, you know, what's it, Andros Townsend's tweets going back in May, and he was talking about Vieira's going, I hope to see you next time when you're my boss. And I don't know whether they're joking about that. So I didn't think about it until I heard last week that he actually's been, you know, he's a contender, you know, to get the Palace job. But in terms of getting a Palace job, this is a massive, massive opportunity for Patrick Vieira, because, you know, he's had his chance with Nice. He managed New York City. This is a big, big job where, let's face it, the Palace, you know, since they've been promoted in 2013, haven't looked like getting relegated. They've always been kind of comfortable. And what they've done as well, they've had, like, on their day, they can go to any grade in the Premiership, and I don't care who you are, and body you. They can go to the Emirates, they can go to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, go to Anfield, Old Trafford, anywhere. And I think that's where he's got a kind of a safest job, but I think his remit is to probably keep him in the top half. So personally, I think it's a very left field appointment. I would have thought probably You know, they would have gone with someone a bit more experience. But you know, it's again in terms of like the situation with, you know, Daniel Ek and everything. I never take anything someone like Daniel Ek says seriously. Anyway, the minute you say the first sentence, "I am a long ride after fan," you've lost me. You really have lost me. Because as far as I'm concerned, mate, that's just like saying your ABC. As far as I'm concerned, we all can do an ABC, but when it comes to actually like doing something a bit more difficult and showing we've got a bit of substance in what we got, you know, the man clearly hasn't got much substance. There's no criticism. It's just factual that the Conkeys do not want to sell. They're only going to sell when they've made a packet out of the Super League. So that's my take on Daniel Ek. But in terms of Palace, you know, I'm not scared of his appointment because I generally think that, you know, he's going to make this mistake the Board made, which is to try and get Palace playing a continental style that they're just not going to be able to play. And he's going to just try to complicate something that's pretty simple. He's got a bundle of athleticism, you know, in terms of like his wing backs and his wingers. Play to your strengths, mate. If he plays to Palace's strengths, he's going to have a really good time at Palace. He's going to have a long career there. If he tries to change it, God help him, it will fail. Seriously. Croydon Roy didn't change it, and Pulis didn't change it when he went there. He recognised that. And he utilised the fact that they're a direct side and they play with a lot of pace. You try to get them to do what they don't want to do, a la the ball, you've had it.
This is the thing, though. Like, obviously, like somebody put a great comment in a minute ago and said, "I'd rather play for Vieira than Arteta," and that is the draw that they now have at Palace. And let me come to Chig on this. Yeah, like obviously Arsenal are a bigger football club. We've got more money to spend. We have a bigger income. Everything's bigger at Arsenal. But the manager that we have is just an average ex-player. The manager Palace have is a legend of not only Arsenal, but Premier League football. You know? And it's like, if you're now Wilfried Zaha, you're thinking, oh, actually, I'll stay. If you're Eze, you're thinking, oh, am I staying? Like, they've got other decent players as well. But I heard Andros Townsend on TalkSport the other week, and he said that Benteke got offered a new deal and he signed that new deal. But I got told that I couldn't have an offer on a new deal until a new manager was sourced. He goes, it's left me a little bit like, I don't know what's going on with my future now. And then obviously that tweet's come to light, and now obviously Vieira's manager. But wouldn't it be funny if Vieira beat Arteta next season? Like, I'm just sitting there thinking, oh my God, the excuses will be rolling. Like a guy who's not managed for ages now, that was managing in France, comes back to England to actually manage a team and then beats Arsenal. Like, what do you make of it all, Chig? Well, like, would you have taken Vieira over Arteta as well? Let me ask you that.
If those were the only two choices on this earth, then yes. Would I have done so? No. Listen, for me, I'm of the ilk of good luck to him. You know, I think it's I'm a bit different to Jez. I actually don't mind when former Arsenal players want to try their hand at management that's away from the club. Good luck to them. You know, hopefully if they have success in their individual in lanes, then you know that makes them happier. And you know, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. I think in terms of the actual appointment itself, you know, it's clearly been sold to everybody as Vieira is a legendary player, a fighter, a captain. Those are the sort of qualities that we want at the club. And you've alluded to it yourself, which was exactly my takeaway from it was, if I'm a player, and let's forget the status of Arsenal and Crystal Palace for a second. If I'm a player, and one of those players is Mikel Arteta, and one of them is Patrick Vieira, I know who I'd want to play for. And I do think that there is something to be said about having a manager that's an inspirational manager, you know, a manager that gets you up in the morning, that makes you want to drive through Stoke and have those hard training sessions, and you know, you put your trust in them even when things are not going right, you know. And let's have it right, and people will forget this. Vieira is more qualified than Mikel Arteta,
Fact.
experience-wise.
Mm.
You know, I think people forget that Vieira's managed 2 different teams now prior to this job. So I'm intrigued to see how he does. I think the real question is, if he does really well, then we will no doubt will revisit this conversation and ask, gosh, is it time to give him the Arsenal job?
No. I think we pretty much all agree we don't want to see Vieira as Arsenal manager. The people out there that do will be doing it off a sentiment. Yeah, I want to see a top proven class manager manage this football club. That's what I'm after. But listen, we're going to wrap this up in a minute. It's only a short one. We're going to do a couple more minutes. Big up to 600 people still watching live. If you haven't voted on the poll in the chat, then make sure you vote on it. Is football coming home? It's currently 55% yes. So a lot of people think it's coming home. Let's just quickly touch on transfers very quickly because my dinner is nearly ready as well. Nice roast. But Jez, we haven't officially announced Nuno Tavares, a left back, as cover. Sambi Lokonga apparently is nearly done as well. Granit Xhaka, everyone's a Granit Xhaka fan. Oh, he's amazing. He had one good game in the Euros for a team and a country we don't support. Well done. Other than that, Reece Nelson's been offered a new deal, apparently. But we ain't seen anyone really leave. Mavropanos has gone. Other than that, Guendouzi's linked, Saliba's linked to a loan. And it's just been like, for me, 3.5 weeks of this transfer window, we've only had 3 players at the Euros. What's the hold up? What do you think of all of it, mate? It's like linked to everyone. Nobody's gone and nobody's come in yet.
It's the same old, Lee, in that, you know, Arsenal linked to every player in Europe. We sign nobody really. Just making a point there about Xhaka. Yes, he had a good game the other night. But did you see him in their second game when he wasn't playing? He was out there with the team, bigging them up, giving them, you know, big encouragement and, you know, come on, lads, you know, let's get it out there. I've never seen him do that at Arsenal.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. He was like the manager.
But regarding transfers, I just let it go over my head because until that bloke is actually in an Arsenal shirt at London Colney, then I don't believe any of it. I just get fed up with it. I don't listen to it. It's just bullshit all the time. Typical Arsenal, doing bugger all, not getting rid of the shit that we need to go. Sorry, didn't mean to swear. But, you know, we've got to get these players out. Bellingham, I mean, what's going on there? He's got to go. And, I mean, Saliba, I mean, what has that kid done wrong?
Yeah. What
has he done wrong? We spend all that money on him. He plays 45 minutes against MK Dons last season, and he's out on loan. And now he's going to Marseille on loan. What? You know, I'd like to actually see what he can do. I mean, is there some big problem between Arteta and him or whatever? I just don't get it. Guendouzi, I think it's a shame. I think he has got a bit of an attitude problem, but well, you know, if he's not going to fit in with the Arsenal team, then I wish him all the best and move on, and I hope he does very well. But you know, there is so much rubbish in this club that is not. It's just sitting there. We've got to get rid of them.
100%. I agree, mate. I think we've had since the 1st of February when the transfer window shut in January till now, and we're in the first week of July. Happy Independence Day to Americans in the chat, by the way. Big up to all of you guys. Happy 4th of July. But we have had from February the 1st to July the 4th, as it currently sits, to have all of these deals teed up. Surely him and Arteta, Kenny, would have had conversations. Edu, Arteta, Vinay. Surely they know which players they wanted to keep, which ones they wanted to get rid of, a list of players that they would potentially like to bring in, and then a tier list of, well, we want him as the #1 target. If we can't get him, we'll get him, and then we'll get him. What's the hold up, Kenny?
Well, you know what? I was actually having a chat with someone on Twitter, and they were talking about our previous, like transfer deals. Like, like, do you remember '97? By pre-season, we had Overmars, we had Petit, we had Bowen Morte, we had Ray. We had all these kind of players coming through, and we had a pre-season. If you look at it, even under George Graham, we had our players. There was none of these last-minute deals, and that was even before the transfer. Because remember, the transfer deadline days back in the day used to be in March next year, but we always had our players through pre-season. But I think the common denominator is we're a top side. Then it wasn't difficult to get players to come to us, and it wasn't difficult to give them a frank boff. Now we're not a top side. There's no major announcements before pre-season, because we are fighting tooth and nail to get players to come for us. And even the players who are interested in coming for us, at the back of their mind, they're always going to think, and these are players who haven't really done it. Well, what if someone like Man United might come for us, or Chelsea, or maybe a foreign club playing the Champions League? That is why I think we are going to go into the 11th hour to get our players, and we're going to have a fraction and a very poor pre-season, because that's what's happened. So what you're going to do is you're going to be giving people deals. I mean, what's the point of giving Reece Nelson an extension when you never played him last season?
Yeah.
50-50. How many players had to get injured for him to get a game? And even then, when they all got injured, he didn't get a game. So clearly, he doesn't rate Reece Nelson. And it's the same, like, as Jez mentioned about Saliba. Stop wasting time. Stop sending him out alone. Put him up for sale. Get your cash back. And then let's rebuild from there. And that's the problem. The common denominator is that top sides don't go into the 11th hour waiting for their players to come in and virtually miss a pre-season. And we're not a top side anymore. Hence the fact that we are going to be scrimping and saving and, hoping to persuade players to come to us. It's not going to be a sure thing like it is at bigger clubs.
Yeah, exactly. And especially when we've seen Jadon Sancho sign for United for £1 million more than Pepe. I mean, that's just mad, isn't it? Chig, what's happened to the clear plan Arteta keeps talking about? We have a clear plan, but that's based on a number of things in terms of whether we get Europa League, Champions League, or Conference League, or no European football. Well, we've got no European football, and it don't look like we've got no plan. It's a madness, isn't it?
Well, and Kelly Kane will be very familiar with this saying. Everyone has a plan until they get boxed in the mouth.
It's true, yeah.
Oh,
and we always get boxed in the mouth. Always. I think, from our perspective, I don't know about you, I'm not particularly looking forward to the start of the season. I think that's why I'm enjoying the Euros, because initially I had this attitude that you had, Lee, about, going into the Euros and just thinking, oh gosh, it's more diet football. But actually, kind of my whole thing is my whole thing has always been, let's just watch football and just try and forget about Arsenal, because literally, I've been so uninspired lately to do the show, because every single day it's the same old nonsense rumours. Or what, we've got a supposed promising defender on our books, but for some stupid reason, we're looking to spend 50 million on an unproven but supposedly promising defender. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. The Mikel Arteta plan. Or, we've got midfielders who are on our books in Guendouzi. And all right, you might say Guendouzi has a bad attitude, and this, that, and the other. But we still don't really know what happened there. And yet, we're looking for more players of that type of ilk. And again, it's just, I'm even hearing this left back that was signed ain't even that good. He's just basically an athlete. You can run fast. That's basically his whole.
Has he got a funky barnet?
Yeah. He's meant to be this guy who could just literally just run fast, and that's basically it. But again, to be honest with you, that's what Kenny Kane said. I think that was what I was alluding to earlier when it comes to managers. Because if we at least had that, if we at least had a manager which can potentially make the difference. Where, all right, we're not in the Champions League, we haven't been in for a few years, we're not in the Europa League, but players say to themselves, all right, well, Conte's there, and I would love to play for Conte, and that be the driving factor of getting players. That would help.
Mm.
But at the moment, if you're someone even remotely, you got to be a real Arsenal fan to come and play for us right now in our situation.
Yeah. It's true. It's absolutely true, man. And it's like, it's kind of sad to see it. And like Georgie in the chat getting all Bertie big bollocks again. Like they've signed Daka, they've signed Samori. Like they're loving life, bruv. Like they're literally loving life. And this is the thing. Leicester probably, I don't know how many players Leicester had in the Euros. Like I'm not sure. Like, but at the same time, it probably weren't many behind Arsenal, and it might have even been more. Leicester have got their business done. They've got quick business in there, yeah? You know, yes, I know they've got European football next season, but their income's not Arsenal's. You know, and it's like they have the clear plan. They have a plan of where they want to go and what they want to be and where they're going and how they're going to get there and how quickly they're going to get there. We just seem to be sitting there going, well, yeah, we didn't get Europe, but yeah, don't worry, Eddie. You go and sit on your jet ski out in the Caribbean, mate. Like, all I keep seeing is that clown rolling around on a jet ski. We'll see him flipping a kangaroo burger and smoking a cigar in a couple of weeks when he pulls out Ben White deal. And everyone will be going, oh, Don Edu. No, absolute rubbish. And I'm sick and tired of it, right? And what's going to happen is...
And it's clever, really, because on the one hand, you've got rid of one defender who might be even better than Ben White. And then you'll bring it, just because you spent 50 million on this, you know, on this Ben White character, it's just gonna. It's basically just like it's like presenting the same stone. Well, hold on, exactly. This is the stone that you threw away yesterday. No, mate, it's a brand new stone. I spent 50 million on this one. 50 million. It's like, mate, I'm a fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. And this is the thing. Like, I don't understand why we want to spend 50 million quid on that kid. I genuinely don't get it. Like, and it's like, it's just baffling. But that will be if we sign him, which is my next video, by the way, at 9 o'clock tonight. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But that will be a typical Arsenal thing. And it will be our most expensive player of this summer transfer window. Yeah, we'll be doing little 15 millions, 12 millions, the odd 6 million. We'll get rid of Maitland-Niles and Willock. Yeah, and if we're really, really lucky, we might spend 40 million on attacking midfielder. Yeah, and it's like, is that where we're at? It kind of is. And on that bombshell, we're going to have to wrap up because I think my dinner's pretty much ready. But listen, it's been good, man. And apart from Arsenal, everything's great. Yeah, talking about Arsenal angers me. Talking about England's not so bad at the minute. Big up to everybody who's watched live, by the way. Still 552. Smash the likes up. Vote on that poll very quickly as well. I'll give you a couple of minutes as well. It's currently 55% says football's coming home. But Jez, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to have you on, Kenny.
Thanks for having me on
as well, mate.
I still think, you know what? You're probably going to have like high blood pressure and probably having to visit your cardiologist after watching England go. But I promise you that you're going to have pure pleasure, mate. You know, when you watch Italy versus Spain, it'd be like having a continental meal, watching good passing football, great defence. Spain probably doing the odd Wazick defending, but the football you're going to watch on Tuesday is going to be sublime, mate. The Iberian derby. Yeah. You know, it's like I see that at St. Aloysius, where I went to secondary school. The Spanish and the Italian boys. All the Spanish boys thought it was cool to be Italian. Wasn't cool enough to be Spanish. Well, let's just see if it's cool enough to be Spanish on Tuesday.
There you go. And Chig, always a pleasure having you on, man. And have you got anything coming up, Chig?
No, thank you for having me. Yeah, plenty. I'm doing a lot of. I'm recording a lot of shows because I like the little pre-record stuff. Actually, it makes life a lot easier. So, yeah, so lots of pre-recorded stuff is hitting the channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Green and Eagle Eye, and also Chig Flicks. I've got a couple of. I've seen a couple of new films recently. and I will be doing reviews on that.
There you go. I didn't ask you, Kenny. You got anything coming up?
Nothing much. Just. I've got there's a Terry Venables documentary on Sky Documentaries I'm about to watch. Because I just want to find that, not because I like Terry Venables. I just want to find that at which part is he going to try and convince us that he won Euro '96. So I'm just watching it for that.
It was coming home. It was coming home, mate.
Well, according to Terry Venables, he won Euro '96. So I want to see video evidence.
Well, listen, it's a bit Spursy, isn't it? He is ex-Spurs, mate. So like they'll try and claim anything as a trophy.
A spoonful of sugar.
By the way,
and I'll ask you as well, Jez, just to complete the set. You got anything coming up, Jez?
No, not at all, mate. Really, but I see we've got a pre-season friendly against Hibernian.
There you go. Our pre-season actually starts next week, I think.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, a quick point. Arsenal are being linked to Sam Johnston. Now.
Yeah.
I thought it was Ramsdale. Oh, it's
yeah, him as well.
Whoever easier to get, apparently.
Yeah, we might as well just put Gunnosaurus in goal. We'll probably have more chance next season. But listen, big up to everybody who's watched live, everyone watching on playback.
Unless they make him redundant again.
Yeah. Well, Ozil's off the wage bill now, mate. I think we're fine. Yeah. But big up to everyone who's watched live and on playback. I'll be back again at 9 o'clock. And then again tomorrow as well. Keep smashing the likes up. Subscribe to Cheeks channel, Guna Eagle Eye. Go and follow Kenny Ken1972 on Twitter and Insta, and Collins.jez on Insta. All links are in the description. And we're out of here. Arteta out. Southgate